Hello learners, welcome to SWAM online lecture series on the topic database management system. I am Muhammad Badla Bukhari, professor in the Department of Computer Science, Aligarh Muslim University, Aligarh. I am pleased to have you join me today as we explore the fascinating realm of data, database and database management system. In the next few minutes, we will journey to object-oriented concept in Oracle that form a backbone of modern information system, which is a database management system. Last week we have discussed about the functions, example of functions, what is triggered, how you will activate trigger, how you will design triggers, example of triggers. So, before going to discuss our today agenda, I would like to give you answer of the question which I have asked in the previous lecture. The first question is to write a function to check a number is palindrome. So for that in MySQL you have to write delimiter /, then you have to create functions is palindrome, parenthesis number is integer, and it will return the booleans. Begin, then you have to declare original string variable car 256, then declare reversed string var car, which means here you have to define the variables, then convert the number into a string. The set original string is equal to cast number as car, and then the reverse string you have to write set reverse string is equal to reverse the original underscore str. Then we have to check if the original and reverse string are equal. If it is equal, then we can say this is a palindrome. If it is not, it will get the result. So if it is original underscore string is equal to reverse string, then we can say the return value true. Otherwise, else return false. And if, and then end double, you can say you have to end the begin end and then delimiter. When you want to see whether the number is that, what you will do, how you revoke, the select is palindrome is equal to 121. When you return, the value will become true. Select if the palindrome 1, 2, 3 returns false. In this way, we are able to find the number is palindrome or not. The next question was write a function to check a number is even. So same way you have to write delimiter /, then you have to create a functions. Here the function name is even number integer return boolean. Then same way you have to write to begin, declare is even boolean, check if the number is even, then what you will do, if number modulo 2 is equal to 0, then is even is true, otherwise it is equal to false. Then end if, and the return is even. Every functions, when you are creating a procedure, it will not return, but in functions it will return the value. Then end if, then you will write a select, then the return false. In this way you are able to run your program on your system for check the number is even or not. The third question was the function to find the area of a triangle. The formula, everyone knows area length and breadth. So you have to create a functions, calculate rectangle area. You have to define the two variables, length integer and width integer. The result is also integer. Then begin, calculate the area of triangle is set area is equal to length into breadth. Then end, then delimiter. When you will enter, so how you will see the result? You have to, for the function, you have to select calculate rectangle area 5, 8 at the results. To retrieve the result, area is select @ this one. Same way you have to write a function to find the factorial of a number. Same way you have write a delimiter, create a function, calculate factorial, and you define n, the value is integer, and then must you have to write return, it should be also integer, then start, then you have to declare the value, declare result integers, then the base case factorial 0 is 1, if n is equal to 0, then return 1, else recursive case is there, if factorial n is equal to n multiply by n minus 1 factorial n minus 1, then set result is equal to n into calculate factorial n minus 1, then the value will return, then you write for that, if you want to see after solution what is the result, you have to write select calculate factorial, the factorial function name is factorial, calculate factorial, you get 5, it will result or return 120. Same way, the write a function that reads a record from sales order. Here I am giving some tabular, you can say commercial types of a database which you have already created previously. A function that reads a record from the sales order table using the cursor and tell the delay between order date and the delay date. Same way, you have to write delimiter, create a functions, then begin, then you have to create the variables. Same way, create variable order integer, declare order date, and then you have to declare the variable. Then after you have to declare the cursor for the salary order name. Here for that declare order cursor for select order number, and then you have to define that. Same way, and then you have to define a declare handler for not found condition also you have to for that. So in this way you are able to declare continue handler for not found, set order delay is equal to null, and then you have to open the cursor also. For the open cursor on the screen you can see start fetching records. If that read order loop, then fetch the next record, if fetch order cursor into order ID, and then if check in no more records, the output of the perform on the desired actions, then you have to select concatenate the order date, order ID and delay, then a result you can see. Then you have to close the cursor and then close order cursor also. Then this way, in this way you are able to find that functions it will run. Object oriented, primary components, multi-valued attributes, and nested tables. Start from object oriented database management system. Object oriented database management stand for object oriented database, ODBMS we can say in we can say ODBMS stand for object oriented database management system. Traditional like relational database, ODBMS store data in the form of object which can contain both data and methods. It means object database management system store data in the form of objects. ODBMS allows for more natural representation of complex data structure and relationships, making it particularly useful for object-oriented programming language. Same of object-oriented language. Object-oriented database system typically provide features like encapsulations, inheritance, polymorphism, similar to those found in object-oriented programming. So same way, already you know about the object-oriented programming. Same inheritance, encapsulations, and polymorphism feature is also included in ODBMS. Object-oriented data model. Object-oriented data model consists of three primary components. First is object structure, next is object classes, and object identity. We'll discuss one by one. Object structure means the structure of object encompasses its constituent properties known as attributes, which define as its characteristics. An object represents a tangible entity with specific attributes forming its structure. An object consolidates both data and code in a cohesive units, facilitating data abstraction by counseling implementation intricacies from users. Object structure entails three fundamental elements: message, method, and variables. These elements are a very important part for object structure. I will discuss in detail. The messages serve as the interface and conduit for communication between an object and its external environment. Message can assume two distinct forms. One is read-only message, the other is update message. In read-only message, invoked method does not alter the value of a variables. The corresponding message is deemed a ready on message. In update message, if an invoked message modify the value of a variables, the corresponding message is classified as update message. If it updated, then it will update message. The next is the method. Methods represent the code executed upon the receiving a message. When it is execution, at the time execution, a method produce an output values. Method can be categorized into two types. One is read-only method, the next is update method. Read-only method do not alter the value of any variables and are thus termed as a read-only method. Only it will read that. In update method, it means it will modify the value of a variables. It falls into category of update methods. Then the last is variable. Variable hold the data associated with an object, thereby enabling the object to be uniquely identifiable. The data is stored within a variable, differentiate from one object from another. The next is object class. An object representing a tangible entity in an instantiation. An object representing a tangible entity is an instantiation of a class. The initial step involves defining a class, after which objects are created. Although these objects may be differ in the value they store, they adhere to the same class definition. Each object corresponds to a set of message and the variable encapsulated within that. It means the class is, suppose, implies the class. We can divide into teaching imply or non-teaching imply. And that teaching imply and non-teaching have some variables depending on that. Let's illustrate the concept of object or in database management system with example. I have taken an example you can see on the screen. Imagine we are building a simple program system to manage a library collection of books. In a traditional relational database, you might have a table like books, authors, journals, and the relationship between them. In ODBMS, we had a model, this entity as object. Here, in this example, here are three objects: books, author. The imply, there are two types of imply: teaching imply, non-teaching imply. We can divide the two objects. How it might look into ODBMS? Oracle database, being a relational database management system, primarily follows a relational data model rather than object-oriented model. However, Oracle does offer some support for object-oriented concept through features like Object Relational Database, ORD, and User-Defined Types. Simple examination. I'm taking some simple example demonstrating the use of user-defined data type in SQL. Here I am taking some example for demonstrating the use of user-defined types in Oracle's. Let's say we want to create a database to manage information about the employee, including their name, age, and department. We can define a user-defined types to represent and imply encapsulating these attributes. How do you do that? Create types, imply types as object, name, varchar 100, age, number, and the department varchar 200, within parentheses should be closed. In this way, we can create. With this imply type defined, we can now use as it a column type in table. With this implied type defined, we can now use it as a column type in table. It means you have to create table imply parenthesis imply ID number, as you have to define the constraint, the primary key, imply information, imply type. Here, if you are creating any table, at that time you have to define the primary key. Now we can insert data into imply table. How to do? The command I will explain. Insert into implies with imply ID is called to imply information, and then the value you have to insert 1. Implied type, the first it will take that, and then it will be the next for the inherit that job due 30 marketing. In this way you can add the value, insert a value in the implied database, and we can query the table to retrieve the information. How do that? Select imply information dot name, imply information dot age, imply information department from implies. You are able to retrieve. So this example demonstrates how Oracle supports the object-oriented concept through the user-defined types. So depending on that, you can define your user-defined type, allowing you to define a structured data types and use them within the table. While Oracle is not a full-fledged object-oriented programming system, these features provide some level of support for object-oriented programming paradigm within the relational database environment. By this example, you are able to understand and you can practice that. Then user-defined data types, you have to write create type address underscore type as object. Then parenthesis, then you have to write street, you have defined a variable street varchar 250, then city varchar 225, and the state varchar 225, and then pin code number you have to define. One next example. Then you have to close. Then after you have to write comment create a type person underscore type as an object. You have to create a name varchar 250, address underscore tie. Then in this way you have created. Then the create customer table. If ID number person underscore ty, then after insert a value in customer, so what will do? Value 1 person ty, then bill address underscore quantity is called address. Within that you have to define Dadar, Bombay, Maharashtra, and the pin code is 40016. Then you want to see for that, what will you select ID, comma c dot person dot name from the customer. We have object customer is C. When you enter ID person dot name is equal to bill. Select a star from customer where condition you can add also. For that C person dot address dot city is equal to Delhi. Then no row selected. You have insert the value here the Maharashtra, but here is not Delhi or Bombay, whatever you have entered, but in that you have not inserted Delhi. That's why to show the no row selected. Then you come to the object view. Then also for that you have to create table customer 1. For that you have to ID number primary key, name worker to 50, street worker to 50, and the city worker was to 25. Then state worker to 25. Then pin code. Then you have to define the variables. Then after you have to create view customer ID OV ID persons as selected ID person type. How you will within that parenthesis their name address. Within that you have to write the street, comma city, comma state or vendor from the customer you have created customer 1, and then you have to insert the value in a view also. Insert into customer underscore OV value to 1, comma person underscore tie within bracket bill, comma address, comma ty. Then within parenthesis you have to write Dadar, Bombay, Maharashtra 40016, and the parenthesis must be closed depending on the requirement. You have to write. Then the next topic is to multi-valued attributes. Create type color types as a vary for of a worker to 10. You are able to create multi-valued attributes when that suppose the car is a color, different type of color. So I have given example. Create table car name worker to 10 and the color call color underscore ty. Then you have to insert the value. How you do? Insert into car value within the code car 1 and the color underscore tie red or green, whatever you write, right? So these are the, we can say, multi-valued attributes. Then it is very important to understand the nested tables. We can get the query, we can get the results. We can get the result from different tables. At the time of 2 tables, you can use that is called nested, like that nested if. Here, create type department underscore ty as an object. Then name worker 50, relation 50, data types you have to define. Then you have to create type dependent list as a table of dependent underscore ty. Then you have to create table imply ID number dependent underscore list. Then parenthesis should be closed. Nested table dependent score as dependent underscore table. Insert into imply value of 1 dependent list. Within parenthesis you have to write dependent underscore type Arun brother. Dependent data is Neha sister. Then you can insert value, imply value to dependent underscore list, dependent underscore ty, Arun. Within quote, you have to have brother, then parenthesis should be closed, then dependent ty, Neha and sister. Then insert the third value. Same way you have to insert the third value in the selected dependent from the imply where id is equal to 1. Depend value, dependent ty, Gaurav and brother. In this way, you can add value, and I hope you will understand the nested tables. Now, list some thought-provoking questions on the crucial topics based on this lecture. The question is design a schema using object-oriented principles to represent these entities. Next is describe how you would model the relationship between these entities. As our exploration for your active participation and eagerly anticipate your presence in our upcoming lectures. Wish you a wonderful day ahead.